the key for your winning streak here?
Well, I think the key for us right now is our energy has been really good, and when our energy is really high, we find ways to do things at a much higher level, right? And so during certain games, and I think our last road trip was probably a really good testament to find a way within our program. In one game, we found a way more so on the offensive end. In the other game, we found a way more so on the defensive end. And, ultimately both of those take a different kind of energy, and I think our players are playing and competing at a high level with that right now.
As nice as that you can win multiple ways. I mean, the Iowa game, you shoot the lights out, right? The Rutgers game, you just don't turn the ball over. You can win in many different ways.
I think in order to be successful, you have to. Ultimately, the teams in the Big Ten are so tough and so talented, and some have great speed and length, and some have great speed and length, and they shoot the ball really well. Some, it's just that you have so many different styles you have to compete against that you need to be able to find different ways to compete.
Coach, does it surprise you that you guys are not ranked in the top 25?
Well, I'm not caught up in any of those things. None of that at this point in time matters. We have a really big test on Thursday, tomorrow, against Nebraska, so that's what we're focusing on at this point in time.
What does Amaya mean to your program?
Yeah, Amaya Battle has meant a great deal to our program. I mean, she's someone who we rely on in so many different ways, and you see it certainly on the offensive end from the ball handling aspect of it. This year you're seeing it so much on the offensive end and offensive rebounding as well. But defensively, all of her rebounds, it seems like we struggle to get rebounds when she's not in the game. And it's like at some point in time she needs a break too, you guys. Someone else has to do that. But she's someone who rebounds on the defensive end. She draws multiple different assignments. Someone who's just a really key player for us.
Coach, as you guys continue this season, do you feel like you guys have hit the mark that you set out for them to accomplish this year? Do you still think there's room for growth with this team?
Well, I think we have to get better at this point in time. I think a major key for us, is to keep working on our transition defense, our ball screen coverages, finishing plays. So I think we've got room for growth, and that's really something that's important, something we're going to work on.
When you sold your vision to Mark Coyle when you came, is this how you sort of saw it playing out, that it would take a little while to build, but here by year 3, middle of year 3, hit a peak?
Well, you'd like to be able to do it, to build and have success immediately. But I think what we talked about early on was the first pillar for our program is toughness, and the second one is togetherness, and the third one is find a way. And I thought that this last week, probably on the road, for us kind of encapsulated a lot of those categories. Toughness, I think a lot of people think of toughness, diving on the floor, taking charges, getting loose balls, getting rebounds, and that certainly is toughness. But toughness is also doing little things well. Taking care of the basketball. What does it mean to take care of the basketball? Get to 2 feet, pass with your outside hand, check passes, meet passes, those type of things. So I think those are all toughness categories, and I thought we had to play with a lot of toughness to have some success. Then there's a togetherness piece, and I thought what our young ladies did a really nice job of on this last road trip was staying composed in different environments that were very, very challenging. And you do that when you have a great level of togetherness, and so it's fun to show them that and how they celebrate each other during the course of games, and that's in our film session. And then there's just a find a way mentality. You don't necessarily know. We can think that we know what is going to be successful, but during the course of the game, we might have had the greatest game plan, but it didn't work out, so now we have to adjust on the fly, so you have to find a way to make those adjustments. This team, being veteran, is able to make those adjustments a little quicker than other teams.
Now, when you get a box score at the end of the game, other than final score, what's the first thing your eyes go to?
Other than final score, what's the first thing I look at in box score? Yeah, I think it all depends on the game. A lot of times it's kind of those categories that you can control what you can control. Whether that's field goal percentage, defense, field goal percentage, offense, maybe you're rebounding, and for me, big one is turnovers. Taking care of the basketball is really big.
Now, with that third phase of finding a way, is that something you've learned to just maybe the hardest to teach or instill? Like, does it have to just things have to play out with certain players? Kind of thing?
Yeah, I think that's exactly right. I think find a way is something that you can talk about and you can give them examples, but you kind of have to live it in the moment. And I think what with this team, and again, being veteran is really an advantage, is that what they're learning is how to communicate specifically during the course of the game. Hey, when we penetrate, this is where we should look. Hey, when they penetrate, this is where they're hitting, this is the spot, this is what we have to cover up. And so when our players can have those discussions and they're very specific, they have an ability to go change what's happening during the course of the next play.
John, with 5 games remaining, what's your mindset? Well, what's your motto to your team about finishing strong and making sure you guys don't let up the rest of the players?
Yeah, I don't think it really changes because where we're at in the season. You know, I think right now we have to continue to develop and grow. And so what I think we learned from the Rutgers game, from some certain transition defensive things, maybe some post-defensive things that we've got to get better, how we have to help each other better in certain situations is kind of what we are looking at and we've got to work on and we've got to grow.
Donnie P, how much has Sophie meant to this season, especially the last 3 games? I mean, she's really come on offensively.
Yeah, I think Sophie has just played so well throughout the entire season, but I certainly believe in the last few games she has given us such a huge boost. And, you know, sometimes it isn't, I thought in the Rutgers game, for example, she was really effective for us. Kind of sometimes early shot clock and a lot of times late shot clock and sometimes getting offensive rebounds. So I think she helps us a lot on that end of the court. On the defensive end, I think is where she is really, you know, kind of growing and developing, and so we even show clips of her sprinting the court late in the game against Rutgers and, you know, helping at the rim and walling up, and she's got some good speed to her too. She was in track. Her dad's a track coach, so you get to see that once in a while, and I don't know that people really recognize that all the time, but I think she's helping us on that end as well.
I mean, how much does she unlock on defense, being able to kind of switch, not 1 through 5, but at least like 2 or 3 through 5?
Yeah, we try not to do that a whole lot, but she does have the ability to move, and she does have the ability. I think what she does a really good job of on the defensive end is she watches the ball at a high level, and so she understands when to help. You know, I think the next step is when you help, again, you got to do the next thing. You've got to help, and you've got to recover. You've got to help, and then tip the ball, kick the ball, do something to make that next play.
Also wanted to ask about Grace. She's been starting to pop up in some draft stuff for next year for WNBA. Just like, what does that mean for a program to get players drafted, especially here where it hasn't happened in 7 years? Right. And then also, like, how is that just a testament to like Grace playing the right way and playing with an assist?
Well, first of all, I'd say this. I think we have a number of players in our program right now that are WNBA draft type of players. Maybe not today, but certainly moving forward. And I think it starts with the My Battle in our senior class and, you know, moves forward. And I think Grace is someone that people are talking about. But I think a lot of our players have, you know, they play with a great deal of toughness, you know, and I think Grace is showing that right now with how she rebounds on both ends of the court, how she's versatile. She can push the ball up the court, she can hit open arc shots, she can get the ball to the rim, she can post up. So I think she fits into a lot of different systems and a lot of different styles. And, you know, I think it continues to a number of other players that we have.
Even though it was now a few days ago, but you have a greater appreciation for just that win at Iowa and something this program hasn't done in, what, 20-something years? Winning on the road against an AP top 10 team?
Yeah, that's been a long time, hasn't it? Yeah, I don't know that we spend time really looking at that, digesting that, thinking about that, because in this, if you do that, if you're looking in the rearview mirror, you're usually rear-ending someone, you know, so you don't want to do that either, and you got to keep looking forward and keep getting ready to do the next thing, and the next thing for us is, again, we've got to get better in some of those areas that we talked about, because we play against a Nebraska team that scores at a 48% clip and shoots it at a 37% clip and has everybody on the floor that can space it and shoot it. And so, you know, we've got to be really locked in to be able to at least be at our best, to the best of our ability when we play against Nebraska on Thursday. Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
What's this win streak been like for you guys, knowing what you've gone through in the last couple of years?
Yeah, I think we built a lot of chemistry over the past couple of years. I think that's showing out right now. We're very in sync with one another, and I think we're just playing together as a team, having a lot of fun doing it.
Yeah, I was just going to say we're having a lot of fun. I think you can see that when we're out on the court, and that contributes to us, you know, doing well out there.
How would you describe what Amaya's meant to this team?
Yeah, I mean, Amaya's obviously, like, taking a big step with just all of the things that she's doing out there, like 14 rebounds that last game, and everything like that has been huge for us. Obviously, her leadership and her handling the ball has always been huge for us, but those things are awesome.
I feel like she can play almost any role that we need her to for each game, and that's awesome to have as like a utility player almost. And then for her to keep showing out in the way that she does.
Sophie, the last few games you've really kind of come on offensively. Just has that been like a schematic switch, or are you just kind of feeling it right now?
I feel like it just kind of changes per game. I mean, we're a very balanced team, so some nights you might be the leading scorer, other nights you might not, and that's just, it makes it fun. It makes it challenging to guard, so they've been finding me more. I don't know if that's been a schematic switch or what, but I mean, I got to credit them too because they've been giving me some really great passes.
I also think Soph's been demanding the ball at all times and just really pursuing those offensive rebounds, so she's been huge.
Are you guys one to pay attention to rankings? If so, how do you guys feel about not being inside the top 25?
Yeah, I don't think that's really something we're paying attention to as much as we are to finish out the Big Ten season. 5 games left. Obviously, we have big goals for our team, but we're mostly focused on the Big Ten season.
Grace, I wanted to ask you, just like you're starting to show up in different draft profiles and stuff like that for next year's WNBA draft. Like, what does it mean as like a student athlete to start seeing your name in those type of conversations?
It's definitely something cool, but again, I'm not really looking at those, to be honest. Mostly just focused on what we're doing here, but yeah, it's a cool thing.
Sophie, how much has Grace meant to this team?
I mean, we call her G Money for a reason, and she's cash. But then she just always brings so much joy and leadership on the court. Always knows what's going on too. So, I mean, just a great person overall to have on your team, off the court, on the court, and I think that means the most to us.
With 5 games remaining, do you think you guys have kind of scratched the surface of how good you can be, or do you think you're still a ways away from how good this team can be?
Yeah, I know Amaya's talked about this in a few things, just like how we want to be playing our best basketball in March and toward the end of the season. And I think that's definitely shown. We've grown every single game we've played, and especially like winning these last 6 games. That's something we're looking to just keep growing.
Yeah, I don't know if we've put a limit on like, oh, we want to have X, Y, and Z stat. I think we're just kind of focused on fixing things as we go and getting better with each game. And so I guess the sky's the limit to us. I mean, there's not really like a, oh, yay, we've hit it, you know?
With Mara, was there a point where you maybe realized, yes, she's all the way back now? I guess how would you sort of see her after work through another back and get back there?
I'd say she's just another one of those players that can do so much for you on and off the ball. So I don't think it's ever like whether she was like fully back. I think she's just obviously gaining confidence after not playing for a long time. But I mean, Mara has that confidence in her. She always has. So I think what she's been doing off the ball and taking a big step these last few games, just putting points on the board, I think is just going to help all of us.
Yeah, I mean, I need to shout her out for her passing into the post because she just gets the ball into the right place for me. And I think also on defense.
Yeah.
I mean, you probably wouldn't see the defensive stats because those are blocks, those sorts of things, but she shuts players down for us as well.
Mm-hmm.
Don talked about it. Her number one pillar is toughness for her program. How does that show up, or what does that mean to you guys? What does that look like?
Yeah, I mean, toughness to us is just obviously the little things. We talk a lot about being like process driven, and to us that's just all the little things, the offensive rebounds, getting on the floor. Defense is a huge thing, so I think those are all toughness categories that we focus on.
Sophie, I know we asked you after the last home game, but just like, is it fun playing defense when you're a top 10 defense and that's kind of like what you guys have made your name on now?
Yeah, I mean, I think we kind of go back to that chemistry of like we're starting to move as kind of a unit, and it's not X, Y, and Z, or if somebody does this and B happens, we're kind of covering up and just, stuffing teams in that sense. So just kind of having that chemistry, being able to just play with one another, know what each other's going to do, makes it really fun.
Yeah, and I think it's just a testament on how we work well together. And defense is kind of something where you have to want to do it for each other, and that's, I feel like, been the best thing for us.
Much appreciation to the two you have for what took place last week in Iowa City. I mean, this program hasn't won on the road against an AP top 10 team since the days of Lindsay Whalen.
Yeah, I mean, obviously that was a huge win for us. They're a really good team, so we just went in there with kind of the same energy that we go into every game, trying to grow and be the best team we can be. And it was obviously huge to get another ranked win this year.
I think we just had a lot of fun doing it too. I mean, I felt like our team was very relaxed, and that was growth definitely from past years when we've been in those types of environments. But then also just, I felt like we had kind of an even game. Everybody showed out and played the role that they needed to, and I think that's what I was most proud of our team for.
It feels kind of like an icebreaker. I mean, after like the double overtime loss against Maryland, the Michigan loss, like I feel like kind of just getting over that hump of like, oh, we can't be the top 10 team.
I don't know if we've ever had that really like in our head of like,
Sure.
Obviously it kind of felt like you were due for one, but I mean, just show up follow the game plan, do what we do, and so I think that's starting to show. Again, we want to hit our best basketball March, so I mean that feels like forever ago. I feel like almost like another season ago. So just kind of focusing on the here and now versus, you learn, you grow from those past games, but anybody can beat you on a given night in the Big Ten, so you really got to be laser focused in on your next game.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, ladies.